Houston's dual threat capability?
Medium. You know, I thought there were some parts of us that were really, really good, and there were parts that weren't very clean. You know, they made some cutback plays on us that, you know, our leverage was not very good. We're not leveraging the football very well, and when you don't leverage it very well, then it's hard to tackle. So there were some things that I thought were really, really good, and there were some things that weren't very clean. So we'll go to work on it and try to keep getting better.
What's the challenge for the defense in making sure that those running lanes are open for the quarterback while also not giving up too many passing opportunities?
Yeah, for sure. All that's all the challenge. You know, I think when you face dual threat guys, and you know, the game was tight. It was back and forth, and you know, they were relatively conservative in what they were trying to do and move the football with the quarterbacks and played both of them. And we kind of knew that was going to be the case, and had worked on it and all those things. But until it starts to happen, and you know, our front side pursuit was really good, and then, you know, just the cutback plays, the cutback lanes, we just have to do a better job.
Jon, what's the cause and effect relationship between A, your ability to get takeaways, and B, your ability to get to the quarterback, which is both high numbers this year?
Yeah, I think in every game you're trying to find ways to affect the quarterback. I think that's the number one thing you're trying to do on defense is affect and effect the quarterback. And some of that is through physical pressure, obviously, pressures and sacks. The other one is through, you know, what do they see when the ball snapped, you know, the post-snap look. And we've tried to just do a great job of trying to keep a good mix of both. And, you know, last week did give you a bunch of opportunities to pressure. You know, I don't even know that we used a third down call last week that we practiced. You know, and I think it will be very similar this week. This is a team, since Coach Aranda's got there, they're in the analytics, and they go for it on fourth down a lot and run the football on third down. So, you know, we're going to have to be really sharp about what we do and when we do it, and if we can do it. And the tempo of the game and the speed of the game, and their tempos on third down are fast. And so you have to and you ultimately then have to take all that into consideration and do what your guys can do. And that's really where we are a little bit with some of our youth out linebacker. We have to marry it all together to affect and effect, and then also, you know, keep our guys relatively so they can find ways to have success as well.
And another week against a running quarterback, Robertson. I know they went and got a MAC Player of the Year who's been out for a while. I don't know if he could be back, but both those guys can run. What's unique challenges do they present?
Just that. I mean, they can do it all, and I think, you know, the guy that's come in lately is, you know, he makes every throw, and they both do. You know, they're both really talented guys, and make all the throws. They can run the football, so that's an extra thing, and they got great command of the offense, and I have a lot of respect for the offensive coordinator, Coach Spav. I think those guys. I think he's an excellent football coach. Played against him when he was at West Virginia, and I just think he's a sharp football coach. He stays within the framework of what their guys can do, and I think they're doing it at a really high level. You know, they've outscored opponents, you know, in these last three quarters in most every game, and you know, I just think it's a great task. I told our team, I sent them a text on Monday morning first thing. I think it's a great task for our defense. It'll be everything we can handle.
With those cutbacks, did you get the feeling those were spontaneous plays by Houston, or something that they saw on film?
There was a couple that you feel like were kind of, I don't know, just it looked like, you know, we were pursuing so hard and so fast, and almost like, man, we're going to start one direction and go the other on purpose. And but either way, it's still based. I mean, you know, it's like I tell our guys on trick plays. Trick plays are only trick plays when you don't do your job. I mean, they run the reverse and quarterback fake reverse keep, and you know, we didn't do our job. So then all of a sudden, man, they tricked you. Well, no, we just didn't do the things that we needed to do. So all of that has to be taken into consideration. We work on it all the time. But I felt like that game we were going sideways. I think our guys knew, man, the quarterback's going to run and take off, and we all just took off too. And you still have job response. You're still cut back quarterback, reverse cone forward. You're all the things that it takes to be a good defender on the backside.
The difference between affect and effect, I've never heard that before. Where'd that approach kind of start with you?
Oh, I don't know. A long time ago, as a defensive coach. You know, I just think there's two different concepts there. You're trying to physically disrupt him, get him off the spot, sack him, pressure him, and then mentally you've got to be able to affect him and get him to what is the coverage when the ball snapped, and what are they playing, and what are they going to play. And you're trying to just get him mentally and physically. That's who you're competing against. When you coach defense, you're always competing against the quarterback. And now you're competing against the coordinator and the quarterback because he's in the headset. So now on defense, you have to do a great job of pre-snap and post-snap, and man, when do you pressure, when don't you pressure, and there's just a lot of things that go into it. But yeah, that's just been part of affecting the quarterback in two different ways.
I know every journalist appreciates the difference between affect and effect, so I had to ask.
Yes, sir. So does a good defensive coordinator.
There you go.
You guys, obviously, you specifically spend a lot of time with the defensive backs. You had a lot of expectations for that group coming into the year.